Hello. Are you looking forward to your summer holiday? I'm looking forward to mine. Today's story is about a family who went for their holidays at the seaside. And for Sally, the young girl in our story, it was her first ever visit to the seaside. You ready for the story? Sally's mother was waiting at the school gates. Sally skipped for joy when she saw her mum, and baby Peter wriggled and smiled in his pram. Mummy, Mummy, we've broken up. We've broken up. It's the school holidays. Sally's mum smiled a big smile. Yes, yes, she said. And where are we going tomorrow? To Scarborough, shouted Sally. To the seaside at Scarborough. That night, Sally helped her mum and dad fill 2 big suitcases with all the clothes they'd need for their 2 weeks' holiday. Vests and pants, dresses and shirts, swimming costumes, buckets and spades, nappies and powder for Peter, shoes, socks and sandals, toothbrushes and towels, and Dad's shaving brush. Oh, so many things. Even some raincoats in case it rained. Next morning, they went to the railway station. Lots of girls and boys were getting onto the seaside train waiting at the platform. Sally was surprised. Well, you'll make lots of new friends at the seaside, said Mum. When they arrived in Scarborough, they took a taxi to the guest house where they were to stay for 2 whole weeks. A kindly lady came out to welcome them. Come in, she said. You're very welcome. I'll show you your rooms, and then I'll make you a nice pot of tea. Sally was so excited. She'd never been to the seaside before. This was her very first visit. It was only a short walk to the sea. Sally saw it first. There it was, blue and wide, but oh, so much bigger than in her storybook pictures. And far out at sea, she saw a big ship. When she got to the sands, Sally clapped her hands in delight. So many people, and donkeys giving rides. Lots and lots of children playing on the beach. And so many mums and dads and brothers and sisters paddling and splashing in the sea. Come and help us build a sand castle, shouted 2 little girls. Sally felt a bit shy at first, but the girls took her by the hand and soon she was digging away. Mum and Dad got 2 deck chairs and little Peter, in a big sun hat, gurgled happily and crawled on the sand. This is great fun, said Sally, great fun. Her 2 friends were sisters, Molly and Jean. They chatted and played together all morning until it was time for dinner. The next day, Sally made friends with some boys, Alan, Terry, and Michael. They were digging a big hole in the sand. You keep digging, said Sally, and I'll fetch water from the sea. We'll make a big, big pool. Backwards and forwards she ran, carrying water in 2 buckets. Soon they had a big pool, and they took turns paddling in it. We've got a little sea of our own, laughed Sally. And Mum held little Peter over it so that his tiny toes just touched the water. It made him cry a bit, it was so cold, but he was soon smiling again. Then Sally and her dad went and looked in some rock pools. Sally found a starfish and some pretty shells. Dad had a little net and he caught a tiny, tiny crab, so tiny that it couldn't nip him with its claws. How Sally enjoyed it all. This is great, she said. I love the seaside. We don't have to go back home yet, do we, Dad? Dad chuckled and shook his head. One day, the sun didn't shine, so they had to wear warm clothes. "Oh, what shall we do today?" asked Sally. "It's too cold to go on the beach." "We'll go and see the dolphin show," said Dad. "That's what we'll do." They went to a place called Marineland, and they all clapped and cheered and shouted when Flipper, the dolphin, jumped up over a very high wire. And Sally went and stroked him on his head when he came up out of the water and lay on the side of the pool. She wasn't scared at all, and the dolphin seemed pleased to see her. When the sun came out again and it was much warmer, they went to the boating lake. Mum and Dad and Peter went in a big canoe, but Sally had a paddle boat all to herself. She turned 2 handles in the boat, and big paddles pushed the little boat far out into the big lake. There were lots of other children in the paddle boats, and they called out to one another. "I'll give you a race," shouted Sally to Mum and Dad. But Dad was just able to beat her, no matter how hard she paddled. After that, they spent most days on the beach. Mum and Dad wore their swimming costumes, but one of them always stayed with baby Peter. They took turns in looking after him. Mum and Sally built the biggest sandcastle on the beach, and Mum put pebbles on it and stuck a little flag in the top. "We can pretend it's a real castle, Mum," said Sally, and she dug little windows and doors in it. Little Peter had a ride on a donkey, and Sally had one as well. And Mum and Dad bought ice creams and crisps. Sally had never been so happy. She was enjoying her holiday at the seaside. As a special treat, Dad took them all for a trip on a boat called the Coronia. It sailed out into the bay, and from its deck, Sally looked at Scarborough. She could see the cliffs and the beach, and high up on a hill, the big castle. I hope, she said, we'll come to the seaside again. I'm having such a lovely holiday. I hope we'll come here again." I hope you liked that story, and I hope you have a lovely holiday, whether you go to the seaside or the country or wherever you go. Well, that's all for today, but I look forward to reading you another story some other time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.